Hi, hello, welcome back. Today we're going to look at a very exciting exercise called Teenager Release, and it's quite similar. I haven't made a video about it before, I think because it's very similar to the triple opener, which you'll find in the long series of videos I made a few years ago detailing individual bioenergetic exercises. However, it does have its own distinct kind of style and inner take, and it involves some level of walking around as well. So I thought it would be appropriate to make a separate video about this. This exercise is great for removing a sense of being overly responsible. You know, if you look around, you'll see some people who they carry a weight on their shoulders, a weight from the past, like stuff that isn't theirs, but they're still carrying it around with them. They're still doing things that they don't really need to do, and it shows in their shoulders. They're being pushed down by a weight. Very often this sense of a weight comes from our parents or other caregivers we had growing up as kids. Our parents obviously have their own distinct personalities, and elements of those inevitably get imprinted upon us as we grow up around them. And when we come to the teenage years, that's the time when we start to throw off the influence of our parents. You know, if you think back to being a teenager yourself, there's this whole thing where your parents become super uncool. You know, maybe start to talk back to them, give them a bit of a hard time. It can be a time of drama, but it is a healthy psychological process. We need to throw off another layer of parental conditioning in order for us to find our own unique adulthood. And one of the things that you'll often see teenagers physically doing during this phase is a kind of exaggerated shrugging motion. It goes a bit like this, with a bit of sound. What's distinctive is the actual shrug. The shoulders move up and then they are thrown down. It's not just a kind of arm movement, it's the shoulders. Up. You know, maybe dad has been telling you to tidy your room, maybe mum has been telling you to get on with your homework, and you know you've got to comply. You're still a teenager, you're still in their home, you're still under their control, but you want to show them, you know, that you're not happy about the situation. And so it's kind of, yeah, I'm going to tidy my room, Dad, but I want you to know I'm not really very happy about it. And so, you know, this movement is very healthy. It's throwing the shoulders down and starting to release stuff from around the base of the neck, the shoulder blades, and the whole shoulder area. And if as teenagers we didn't fully release this stuff, we can use these motions again now as a therapeutic exercise to finish the job off and to get all of that old sense of responsibility that isn't really ours out. So to do this exercise, first it's important to kind of think back and imagine yourself as a teenager in this rebellious phase where you just want to do your own thing and everything about your parents is a drag and super uncool. And then what you begin to do is you begin to stomp around the space you've got. You don't need a lot of space. Stomp around so your heels really make contact with the ground in this kind of protesting stomp. Obviously don't do it so hard that you might hurt yourself. But give yourself this feeling of impact against the floor. Stomping around. The second thing is this lifting the shoulders up in time with the stomps. So it's like and I'm already making the sound, which is the third element. It's a kind of grunt or just a kind of, not a massive, but a slight expression of just not being happy, of being frustrated, and just totally not wanting to do something. So let's put these three movements together and I'll just walk around and demonstrate. What's particularly important in this as a therapeutic exercise is the movement of the shoulders. Most people will keep the grunting going and the stamping going, but they tend to drop the shoulder movements, and that's actually the core of it. So you will really need to check, especially when you first start working with this exercise, that your shoulders are actually moving. You're not just hurling your arms around. The shoulders must come right up towards the ears and be thrown down. When you're doing this as an exercise to really get a release, I recommend you begin doing some bow and arch. If you don't know what those exercises are, you can find them by searching on my channel. And you do that for 5 or 10 minutes first to begin with, and then you go into this teenager phase, building it up slowly. Start a bit slow and then build it up. And if you like, you can come to a conclusion where after about 2 or 3 minutes of doing it, you just stand with your feet about shoulder width apart and your knees bent, and you start to just really throw your shoulders down faster than you're breathing, no longer stamping, and making a continuous kind of sound. This is a bit of catharsis that we can put in at the end, so it goes like what you may notice, is it goes into a kind of spontaneous release, and your body, you realize your shoulders are just doing it themselves. That's when your body is releasing naturally outside of the control of your mind, and it's a very healthy thing to happen. And of course, to complete, spend some time either sitting or lying down, just feeling your body. I recommend at least 2 or 3 minutes. And that is Teenager Release. It's an excellent bioenergetic exercise, and thank you for tuning in today.